Hey everyone, I'm Brett, and welcome to Nightwood Guns. I've been reviewing a lot of compensators and ported guns recently, and two comments have popped up so frequently on all of those videos that it's actually worth making a dedicated video to address it. Now, I have talked about the downsides of ported guns before, famously in my ports versus comps for everyday carry video. I will go ahead and link it up there for you. It is demonetized and has limited visibility, so maybe you missed it. But one of the two comments is that ported and compensated guns are going to be louder, so you could actually damage your hearing more if you get into a defensive shoot and you're not wearing ear pro. And my quick response to that is, guns are loud. And if you shoot a gun, ported or not, without ear pro, it's going to cause hearing damage. You're not going to go deaf, you will be fine, but it's going to be loud regardless. But, I mean, people have been carrying .357 Magnums for a long time. People use 12-gauge shotguns along with rifles for home defense, and I think we all know at least one person who at one point was clearing buildings with rifles overseas. Guns are loud, and if you're carrying your pistol in public, chances are it's not going to have a suppressor on it. But the second comment that pops up all the time is the one that we are going to specifically address in today's video, and I will see people say quite frequently, I would never carry a compensated or ported gun because it could blind me in low light, or I could lose my night vision because of the flash.
I can't see! I can't see! Of course you can't fucking see! I just shot a blank in your fucking eyes!
And of course my response is, gunpowder is burning, and there is an explosion. And ports, comps, or not, it's gonna flash at night. But when I recently shot my review for the Streamlight TLR7 HLX, I'll link that up there, and I figured since I was out there, I would go ahead and compare a standard barrel, compensated barrel, and ported barrel in low light, so we could get a better idea of how much of a flash there's going to be. And be sure to stay tuned because I'm gonna go over something pretty obvious that can help you offset a flash in low light. If you're enjoying the channel, subscribe, comment down below, and like in that order. That is the best free way to support the channel right now. And if you'd like to take it a step further, there are a lot of juicy links in the description down below to further support the channel. In this nighttime footage, it is low light, but it's still just barely bright enough that you can make out a threat, see if someone's holding a knife or a gun. And whether this situation arises at home at night, or if you find yourself in a night out on the town and in a parking garage or parking lot that's not well lit, this is a situation that can and has certainly occurred. So first of all, we have a non-comped, non-ported gun, which is a standard barrel. This is the Stealth Arms Platypus. If you haven't seen my review for this, it is awesome. I'll link it up above. Now, as you can see, this gun still has a pretty bright muzzle flash at night. It has a spherical shape that is directed forward, but we still have a bright center that covers the sights, whether that be a red dot or your actual iron sights, and it covers the entire target. So yeah, all guns flash at night, and it can be distracting, but as long as you remain target focused, it's not so distracting that, you're gonna start missing your shots. For the compensated gun, I was running a Glock 19 with the Radian Ramjet Afterburner compensator on there. I recently did an awesome review for the P365 Radian Ramjet Afterburner. I'll link that up above if you missed it. It's a good video. But with a compensator on a gun, it's more of a cone shape that's being directed upward, and it's definitely brighter. That bright center is moving up and covering more of the target, covering more of your sighting area, and it's definitely more distracting than having no comp or no ports. But I would say shooting target focused, it's the same level of distraction as an uncomped gun. And even though the flashes were a little bit brighter, I still did not lose my night vision. I could still see all around me perfectly. And for the ported gun, I was running the Bull Armory TAC Pro 5-inch. I also reviewed this. This shoots just as well as a Staccato XC. Big fan of this gun. Check out that review up above if you haven't already. So this has V8 ports, which means it is ported 4 times on each side for a total of 8 ports. Doi. And as you can see, this unleashes a whole new level of chaos coming out of the top of the gun. It is significantly brighter. It didn't just take up the target and my sighting area, it took up my entire vision cone, and it was extremely distracting. This was crazy bright. Now, I could see an argument being made for maybe losing some night vision with a setup like this, because when you look up at one of the lights on your ceiling and then you look away from it and you have that spot in your eye on the wall, I had 2 of those spots in my vision from those 2 ports, just touching off 5 rounds. But of course, the human body is incredible, and also I'm not an idiot, so I could still see the target. I did still have my night vision, I just had a couple of spots in my vision. And while this is the strongest case for maybe being blinded by ports or comps, it certainly did not hinder my hits on the target. Now let's take a look at a different angle, and on these, I want you to pay attention to how much it lights up my face, because that's how bright it is on my eyes. It's kind of a good barometer for you. So with the unported gun, barely lights up my face at all, so it's not too bright, not too distracting, but it's definitely still noticeable and still there. With the compensated gun, it doesn't really light up my face, a little more than the unported uncomped barrel, but it's really not too bad, and I wouldn't say it's any worse than the uncomped unported gun. It's a little bit brighter, but not so bright that it was leaving spots in my vision. And then this is the thing that's really telling. You can see this ported gun is completely illuminating my face. And I'm gonna say this, if you're not used to this, if you haven't done any training in low light or at night, this is something that I genuinely think could surprise you. So if you're carrying a ported gun, I highly recommend finding somewhere you can shoot at night or in low light, so that you can get used to that flash. Now, when we started out, I mentioned that there was a way to offset the flashing of your pistol at night if you're concerned about it, and that is to toss a weapon light on there. I know it seems like a no-brainer, but if you toss a weapon light on there and you have the time and ability to activate it in a defensive shoot, then it's going to completely wash out your ports, your comp, or even just a standard barrel flash. Marksmanship is incredibly important in a defensive shoot, and that's the reason that I personally carry a weapon light, is to make sure I can get good hits in low light if there's any kind of distance involved. And just because it's on the gun does not mean I am forced or obligated to use it. It's just there as an option if I have an opportunity to activate it quickly. So after exploring this together and taking a look at this stuff with you, my final thoughts are, if you are used to guns going off and if you've practiced in low light or nighttime, the ports, comps, whatever, muzzle flash is not going to bother you. In low light, even with the ported gun, my hits were exactly where I wanted them to go. My accuracy was in no way impeded. However, if you don't shoot often or you've never done it before, I could see how this would startle you. But it certainly was nothing like a flashbang going off in front of your eyes and completely blinding and disorienting you in low light, like some people in the comments may lead you to believe. But I'd like to hear from you guys. How do you feel about this test? Does this bother you in low light at all? Or are you carrying a ported gun or compensator anyways? Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone. It was great seeing you again, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Brett, and this was Nightwood Guns. Nightwood out.